disingenuous. He stands as a beacon of truth. He is Abuki Cabal. You are listening to Abuki Cabal.
Welcome to the Abuki Cabal Show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's been a long time. I have had some technical difficulties, and hopefully I've got them out of the way. But I've been trying to let this latest issue kind of play out before I delved into it a little bit. But Jamie Foxx has had some allegations of this Me Too situation and this adult Suvivors Act. I kind of hate to say I told you so, but I think this is gonna get crazy because I think people are going to unfortunately end up in a situation to where we're gonna see a whole lot more of this than we care to deal with, because it's just looking like it's just going to be more and more and more of this over and over and over and over. We're seeing allegation after allegation after allegation, and nobody is asking any questions. No one seems to, care about, whether we need to ask any questions regarding, whether there's any kind of investigation needs to be done, whether there's any type of scrutiny needs to be levied against the accusers. We just go out and we hashtag believe all of the women and just go about our business. And it would seem that no one seems to really care about the unintended consequences of what might transpire with regard to these men who are being brought up on these charges in these civil cases. And I understand that people are trying to do a good thing here, but it's like we have tried so hard to give women a voice by making it more available for them to get education and to be in the room in these legal situations and in every aspect of life, essentially, legally and all kinds of other areas. Yet, when men are in the room now, men are afraid to speak up and to question when questions need to be asked because they don't want to offend. So things basically just go on. People get prosecuted when maybe they shouldn't have been prosecuted. People get pushed out of their jobs, or they, lose their jobs when maybe they shouldn't have lost their jobs. Things like that happen as a result of these issues. And, when we talk about these things, we're called, woman haters, and we're insensitive, to the issues and whatnot. But, I don't think that's the case. I think that, you can have a sensible discussion about these issues and not be insensitive in this day and age, without backpedaling and going backwards, pushing women back into a place where they don't want to be, or retrograding their positions. No one wants that, but no one wants women to make progress and become tyrants. And I see in so many ways that some women are becoming tyrannical. And it's not necessarily the ones who are in the spaces, but it's the ones who are not necessarily doing the work, the ones who are dating and who feel like they deserve what these men have, who they are out dating, because these men maybe have multiple girlfriends and have a lot of resources. They feel like they deserve what these men have. And, I don't feel like they deserve anything, and I don't think society should feel like they deserve anything from these men. But I think these women are going to start to push towards trying to reallocate some of these men's resources through civil actions. And I think that this is going to be state sanctioned almost through actions like this Adult Survivors Act. These are some of the unintended consequences that we're going to start to see. And, when you have a situation where you have a, no time limit associated with when you can bring up charges on any individual who may or may not have been in your vicinity, and they could have, brushed up against you, could have, whatever you have to do, whatever, story you come up with, and I hate to put it that way, but some of these stories sound concocted, and I'm not the only one who thinks that. And, some people are not really saying this, but I mean, we've had issues in the past. We've watched, football players in the past where women have targeted them, lured them off, having conversations with them, and then said that things happened that didn't happen. And when you see the videotape, you see that this didn't happen. And, the young lady's boss told her not to interact, with the celebrity, yet she did it and tried to get this celebrity into a situation where she could, file suit against the guy. And he, had consequences levied against him, and allegations levied against him, and they were fraudulent. And I mean, this is ridiculous. The man could have lost his job. He could have lost. I mean, he wasn't able to to appear in the Super Bowl because of these allegations. You guys all know who I'm talking about. Michael Irvin. So we have that situation. We have the Cosby situation where everybody just kind of went along with that, where, a young lady asked, well, I need something to relax, by her own admission. I need something to relax. Why do you need something to relax when you're at his home discussing, business? Who does that? Another young lady who had business dealings with Harvey Weinstein said she never met Harvey Weinstein on his boat or in any other unprofessional venue, and asked the question, why were these ladies going and meeting him in these venues when I've always met him in an office in a business suit, sitting in a waiting area waiting to be seen? And one has to ask the same question. Whenever I've gone on an interview for a job, I've always sat in a waiting room with an application. So why is it, that people don't ask the same questions that normal people ask? But we have these men out here who white knight for these women. Like Mark Lamont Hill, who is gleefully out here. Oh boy, some, more men have been brought up on charges. We're going to clear the field because these women have been sexually pressured and he's excited, chomping at the bit for more and more, I'm not. All you have to do is just watch this. Watch how he reports this. He's not neutral. This man has been in the business for a long time. This man has a PhD. He's supposed to have good sense. He's supposed to be a learned individual. This is not the same kind of reporting that we got when he was talking about the Israelis and the Palestinians. He's not reporting in a neutral, educated fashion. He's not doing that. No. But when he's talking about, the LGBTQs and the men against the women, he gets raw. He gets real in it, It's like he can't wait. It's like gossip, he couldn't wait to talk about, the thing with Diddy and the thing with, with Cassie and all of these things. And, and just because an allegation is levied against a man does not make him guilty. But we're seeing that, time and time again, these men are being tried in the court of public opinion. And these men are being found guilty in the court of public opinion. I said that this was not going to stop. This whole Me Too deal. We have to face the fact that this Me Too movement has an agenda, and it's not a neutral agenda. It's not pro-male either. They have said out publicly that they targeted high-profile men, namely R. Kelly, Weinstein, Bill Cosby. So they targeted specific individuals to give them a more high-profile so that they could jump their platform off. Okay. We saw some of the same, things going on with, our other, movement, which happened to be taken over by another a group that had nothing to do with the folks that it was supposed to be representing. Hands up, don't shoot, Black Lives Matter and all of that, and it happened to be run by, women who were of another persuasion, who funneled money off in other directions that had nothing to do with the cause, or the black men who were dying in the street and who were, the reason for the issues in the first place. So, here again, we see a situation where men are being, thrown into the furnace. And if we don't watch ourselves, we're going to look over our shoulders. And in the background, we're going to look over the devastation that's been left in the wake of this situation that they've left, trying to do good. And basically they're going to leave in their wake a whole bunch of men who haven't done anything, who basically were basically trying to, basically stay out of their way, and who never tried to do anything bad to women, basically wanted to have a wife or have a girlfriend or have a family. And, the water has been polluted because they've made us all look like we're abusers and men who basically just have a whole bunch of resources and see women as something that we can just use and abuse. And people like Mark Lamont Hill think that that's okay. He doesn't see any unintended consequences coming from this at all, because I've never seen him question any of this at all. And he's had, trans people on for Me Too situations, for women's issues. He's jumping on this. I mean, it's like issue after issue after issue. He's on that side. I don't think Mark has ever covered a men's issue, ever. I don't think he even counts himself among men. I don't think he thinks, there's an issue. Look, we just had a situation where a young lady has just tried to burn down Martin Luther King's house. And a black woman just posted on Twitter that she must have had her reasons for doing it. I don't know in what world we live in where somebody tries to justify the reasons for burning down an iconic figures in our history home, pouring gas out on the porch and about to set it ablaze. But that's where we are now. But I digress. I'm going to go ahead and move on and take a look at the article covering Governor Hochul's act, the Adult Survivors Act, and what it was trying to do. So here we go. Well, this is the article that came out on AP. And this was a while back. It's about where a woman alleges that Jamie Foxx sexually assaulted her at a New York bar. Actress says it never happened. Okay, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, as our favorite ESPN female commentator says when she points out that, you know, a young man has had some issues in the past. I would be remiss if I didn't say that Jamie has never had anything like this ever happen that I or anybody has heard of that runs in the circles in Hollywood or outside of Hollywood. No one has ever heard anything bad about Jamie Foxx. And yet we had this lawsuit come up, and it was pushed through in the 3 days where thousands of lawsuits were pushed through because of this Adult Survivors Act. So let's find out what this is all about. Okay, New York AP. A woman has alleged in a lawsuit that actor, singer, and comedian Jamie Foxx sexually assaulted her at a rooftop bar in New York in 2015. An incident the actor says never happened. The lawsuit filed Wednesday in State Supreme Court in Manhattan by a woman known in documents only as Jane Doe alleges that Foxx rubbed her breasts and groped her under her pants against her will. Okay, that makes me raise a question. If these men or anybody is innocent until proven guilty, why are these men's faces being plastered all over social media and media everywhere? Like I said, they're trotted out in front of the masses, and we're to presume that they're innocent until proven guilty. But I think that that's a flawed premise. I think it's an antiquated, notion to think that we're just gonna, that the masses out here are gonna have the good sense to say, no, they're innocent. No, we're not gonna believe anything about what these women are saying about them, because we never believe any of the gossip columns or any of that stuff, because we've never bought any of that stuff to the tune of millions and millions of dollars a year like we always have. So the suit says she and a friend were seated at a table next to Foxx at Catch, New York City. In 2015, the woman asked Foxx for a photo, and the two women took several pictures with him. The suit says that afterward, he began complimenting her supermodel body and told her she looked like the actor Gabrielle Union. That doesn't sound like a body that he would be, complimenting as a supermodel body. So, but anyway, he then grabbed her by the arm and took her to a secluded area where he put both hands under her crop top and felt her breasts. The suit says she tried to pull away from Foxx as he reached under her pants with his hands and touched her genitals. The suit also alleges when the woman's friend found them, he stopped and the woman walked away. The suit says a statement in response released Thursday from a representative for the 55-year-old Foxx said the alleged incident never happened. In 2020, this individual filed a nearly identical lawsuit in Brooklyn. The case was dismissed shortly after 2020. Okay. So never said anything in 2015, but then filed a suit in 2020. Okay. And I think in 2020 was when the Adult Survivors Act was first enacted, but we'll get to that. Okay. The case was dismissed shortly after. Okay. Dismissed probably because there was a lack of evidence. Okay. The claims are no more viable today than they were then. We are confident they will be dismissed again. And once they are, Mr. Foxx intends to pursue a claim for malicious prosecution against the person and her attorneys for refiling this frivolous action. The statement said the woman is seeking damages to be determined at the trial, the suit says. The lawsuit was one of many filed this week under a temporary New York law, that the Adult Survivors Act, that allows adult victims to sue over alleged sexual attacks that previously would have been outside the statute of limitations. The law expires after Thursday. Okay. All right. So there's the article. All right. So she filed this before and she lost in 2020. So now she's refiling it again. All right. So here we have another article here with the Adult Survivors Act. This is on Wikipedia. I did this for, for time. All right. The Adult Survivors Act is a New York legislation enacted in May 2022. Okay, so she did it before the act was which amends the state law to allow alleged victims of sexual offense for which the statute of limitations has lapsed to file civil suits for 1 year period from November 24th, 2022 to November 24th, 2023. The act thus expands the ability of the plaintiffs to sue for sexual assault and unwanted sexual contact in the workplace. Okay. Before 2019, the 3-year statute of limitations applied to civil suits for sexual misconduct in New York. In 2019, the New York extended the statute of limitations for civil suits arising from sex crimes against adults to 20 years. Okay, so here we see some of the other fallout. And more of people losing their minds during COVID. We see people, pre and during, but people just extending, times for people, statutes of limitations and whatnot. I mean, I don't think that we should be encouraging people to take, forever to file claims when someone has done something wrong to you. We should be encouraging people to go and file charges as soon as possible and not wait 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years and still act like it was yesterday. That's not right, especially in a case where, look, we all know that the more time passes, the less likely it is that your story is going to make any sense, and that you'll be able to catch a person. There's a reason why they call the first 48, because it's less likely that you're going to catch a person because evidence disappears after that 48-hour period. Okay. And think about evidence disappearing over the course of 30 years. Okay. Think about not having any physical evidence. Think about not having any corroborating evidence. And think about, all of the he said, she said. Think about, whether, anything happened at all. Maybe, we're taking away, the ability of an investigation to even be able to take place. And we're talking about, large sums of money being put into play here, and people are acting like it's of no consequence, that it doesn't even that doesn't even matter, that the money is nothing. This is about the crime, and it's like there's no these women are not encouraged to go out and make these allegations because these men have huge amounts of money and resources at their disposal. Okay. I mean, that's even being held against them. When they have all of this money, they're saying that they're even bigger predators because they've got all of this money and power. That's a part of the narrative now. The more money you have, the more, more powerful and more, the more fearful, that woman must be of you, But the other side of it is that they flock to you too. I mean, how many times have you seen people, outside the red carpet trying to tear up into a place, trying to get to these men, trying to flip these men's car over, trying to get inside of them? Have you guys ever seen, the deal with Michael Jackson inside the car with his his lawyers and some other people inside of the car, and he's like laughing, going, "Look at the titties, look at the titties." The lady is pressing her breasts all up against the window, trying to get inside of his car. Have we forgotten scenes like that? I mean, are we gonna, look at these issues as adults? Are we gonna look at these issues like, wide-eyed children and try to assess them, with the best scenario possible in our minds? Are we not gonna, we talk about grooming and things of that nature. I mean, are we not gonna act like we know, or that we don't know, that, every night there's SVU, on every night, and they have some kind of special victims unit, some type of sexual crime on, where they're trying to solve the crime and whatnot, but something has happened, and we talk about grooming. Is that not a form of grooming, where they're if a girl is watching this, it's teaching her how to tell her story to the police if something happens, so she can go and get her money? She doesn't have to have any DNA. She doesn't have to have anything. All she has to do is have a good story and be where she says she was. Not necessarily, make sure there's no cameras around or whatever the case may be, or, and not to mention that, some of the things that these women are talking about were okay 20 years ago, but they're not okay now. And the thing about it is that you can be found guilty for something today that was okay back then, that was socially acceptable back then. Jokes that were okay back then, you can lose your job for today. Are we not going to address these issues? Okay, let's go on into provisions. The ASA amends New York law, the civil practice law, and rules to allow alleged victims of the sexual offenses for which the statute of limitations had lapsed to the civil suits for a 1-year period, the look-back window from November 2024, 2022 to November 2024, 2023. The SA model after the New York Child Victims Act of 2019, which established a 1-year look-back, a 1-year window, later extended by an additional year for victims of child sex abuse to sue, raising claims that otherwise would have been barred by the statute of limitations. Okay. All right. And now it goes into notable cases. Okay. Roughly halfway through the look back period, relatively few civil cases had been filed under the ASA. However, a large number of ASA complaints were filed just before the look back period ended on November 24th, 2023. Ultimately, more than 3,000 suits were filed under the ASA. 3,000 suits were filed within 3 days of it ending. That should give you pause as well. I mean, people don't, I mean, that doesn't make you feel, you know, kind of weird that, you know, that kind of activity is going on. You know, so those are the types of things that make me feel bad about that, you know. And then you know, we have people in the news every day for the last, you know, 6 months. We've been hearing people saying that they need to get rid of Jonathan Majors. Maybe less than 6 months. Because his girlfriend snatched his phone out of his hand. But she said that he beat her and did all this other stuff. Well, you know, the people that were there said that he didn't beat her. She lied about the, you know, the extensiveness of the injuries. You know, then you have the DA, you know, saying, oh, we're not going to press charges against her. So the females in these cases get special treatment, but the men get smashed under the you know, the full brunt and weight of the law, you know. And you know, we see, you know, that men are being, you know, just trampled by these slogans, these hashtags, you know, believe all women, you know, me too, you know. I mean, all you have to do is just go on. I mean, go on TikTok, you know, you have women come on and it's like, you know, a woman will come on with a sad story and then you'll see in there, oh, this is my story too. I cannot believe this. This happened to me too, you know, and it's over and over and over, you know, and it just, it just lends more credence to, you know, the copycat phenomenon where, you know, you have people who will become envious of people getting notoriety from being involved in these cases, you know, and they will start to do the same thing. I mean, have we forgotten about the, you know, the woman who basically made all those allegations against the what was it, the I think it was a hockey, not a hockey team. It was it Duke? I can't remember who it was. It was but she made all these allegations, said that the whole team, you know, I think it was a lacrosse team. You know, they you know, sexually assaulted her, and come to find out, it was like a year later they come to find out that she falsified the entire thing. But these guys were ruined. The school even, went above and beyond to destroy these young men. How have people, gone about making amends for these people? What about the young man who the woman came and said that she that he had done things to her, and then come to find out that he had done nothing. He had served jail time, and then she came back and she said after he had served his jail sentence that he had done nothing. They did a movie about it. Yet we're doing more and more and more to make sure that things like this continue to happen and not to prevent them from happening. Like I said, there are so many people out here who want Jonathan Majors to be fired from his job for something that had nothing to do with his job, didn't happen on his job, nothing. The man hasn't broken any laws. She broke a law, but they chose not to prosecute her. Okay? And, you have weak men and white knights who are enabling these false allegation raising individuals to destroy men. And it's unacceptable. And no one is coming up to challenge these people. Now, that's not to say that women who have actually had things happen to them shouldn't have justice. They should have justice, and these men should go to jail who have done broken the law and have done things to them. I am totally for justice in that case. But for people who make false allegations and try to ride the wave and finesse as a result of this, and we all know that all of these stories are not true. We know this, but we're allowing them because no one wants to say anything. No one wants to scrutinize these people. They're making it easier and easier. We're passing laws because there are more women in the legal system because of their successes in college, because of feminism. So they're taking over the legal system. They're taking over the sociology fields. They're taking over the psychology fields. So they're doing all of the research in that. So that research, all of the neutral research is being undone, and it's being made fem-centric. Everything is being made fem-centric to so-called level the playing field, so that women can become equal. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is female supremacy, not equality. And I dare you to show where this is equal, because it's not. The data doesn't show equality. The data is showing supremacy. We've gone from more men getting degrees to more women getting degrees. It hasn't become balanced. More women are getting degrees, and more women are going to continue to get degrees. The data is still showing that they are outpacing us. And legislation that they're putting forth is for them, not for us, not for society. It's for women to get better. more stuff for women, more money for women, more money for women's programs, more opportunity for women. That's all we're seeing. More of this, more of that. And if we say anything about it, then we're anti-woman. And as a result, we're seeing this demonization that's taking place. And this is a part of it. And all I'm saying is that men are going to have to start to speak up against some of this, because it has to be a balance. There's a reason why justice is depicted as a scale. It's supposed to be a balance. And it's supposed to be blind. How about we try to make it that way? Okay, let's take a look at Willie D did a little coverage on it. Let's take a look at a little bit of what he had to say about it.
Actor Jamie Foxx faces sexual assault and battery charges in a lawsuit filed on Monday with the New York State Supreme Court. The alleged incident occurred in 2015 at Catch New York City, a popular New York City restaurant, according to the complaint obtained by CNN. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, claims in the suit that Fox intentionally and without consent used force to offensively touch plaintiff's person, including groping her breast and genitals. The complaint alleges Fox seemed intoxicated at the time of the incident. As a result, the complaint states the woman suffered and continues to suffer physical and emotional injuries, anxiety, distress, embarrassment, and economic harm, and is seeking an unspecified amount.
Now, how do you get that out of something that happened in 2015? You're not around Jamie anymore. No one knows that happened. I mean, how do you prove that? Is what I mean, you were out at a nightclub that this was a one-time incident that you go to. I mean, I don't even know how your lawyer can even justify those type of damages. And it doesn't this seem kind of over the top to you? It just seems like it's just a bit much.
The plaintiff is also suing the restaurant's parent company, Catch Hospitality Group, and various related business entities as defendants for negligent hiring, training, and supervision. A representative for the company was not immediately available to comment. The lawsuit was filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which went into effect in late November 2022 and allows adult survivors of sexual abuse to sue their abusers in New York, even if the statute of limitations on their claims had expired. The law has given adult survivors of sexual assault 1 year to file lawsuits against their perpetrators and is set to expire on Friday. The law has given adult survivors of sexual assault 1 year to file lawsuits against their perpetrators and is set to expire Friday.
Okay, and I have another issue with this. I mean, here again, we see bending the rules. You bend the rules so that, they can do something that they couldn't have done otherwise. You know what I mean? And I can't help but to think that this didn't come about because of the Cosby situation. I think that, some of those allegations with Cosby went all the way back to the 60s. I just, it's just hard for me as a logical person to believe that the number of people having to be involved with that, and nobody got a kit done. No one there's no physical evidence. People are taking drugs. People are requesting drugs. People are doing all kinds of things, and they're not going to the police. People are in places that they shouldn't be, but nobody's asking any questions. Nobody wants to. People are saying you shouldn't ask questions. Just because a person is there, you shouldn't think a certain thing, and that that's crazy. There's a thing called cause and effect. Things happen because of certain things being in play with every situation. So, that being said, we're going to have to stop this. There's going to have to be some scrutiny in this. And if that's the case, then maybe some of these women are just going to have to stop having access to some of these stars, just because, this guy's a star does not mean that because you're a scantily clad woman means that that you should have access to him. So maybe y'all should be a football field away from these people. Maybe y'all shouldn't be able to be close to them. Maybe y'all shouldn't be able to talk to them. Maybe y'all shouldn't be able to know where they are. Maybe y'all, maybe we should have some more restrictive rules about that.
This is a money grab, fam. This is a money grab. I'm going to tell you straight up, fam, it's getting more and more less believable. The more lawsuits that you hear about, the more and more it becomes less believable. And I'm going to tell you right now, something needs to be done. Now, I know some of y'all going to be mad at me for saying that, but everybody that files sexual assault is not innocent.
I agree. Now, the next question is, who's going to have the guts to do something about this? Who's going to have the intestinal fortitude to do what needs to be done to bring the needle back towards the center?
Everybody that is accused of sexual assault is not guilty. And I don't think that we should be just giving these blanket opportunities for people to just come up and we just automatically believe what these people are saying. It sounds like to me a lot of this that's going on is women who had an opportunity to be with men of status, men who had money, and things didn't go like they quite planned it. Perhaps there was a night of touching and feelings and all that kind of stuff that people typically do in the club or whatever. People get a little frisky. Men and women get frisky. So perhaps something like that could have occurred. Whereas typically a woman would just be like, hey, I ain't tripping on that. He just had a little too much to drink, Or the man say, you know, this girl is all over me. I ain't gonna trip on it. She grabbing my stuff and everything. She grabbing my junk. I ain't gonna trip. She a little drunk. Let me just separate myself. Now, everybody looking at the come up now. So they going straight to the lawyers to see how they can get paid. If a woman is truly a victim of sexual assault and she's been traumatized and she really can't work, she really experiences anxiety and distress, and this is something happened to her 8 years ago and she still can't cope. If she's suffered economic harm from a guy who allegedly touched her in the club 8 years ago, she's suffering economic harm to this day. Okay, give us some justice. Stroke a check. But I'm going to go and jump out on the limb right now, family, and I'm going to say I think she lying. Whoever she is, I think she lying. How are you suffering economic distress from a dude who you claim touched you in the club 8 years ago? How are you suffering economic distress?
My point exactly. My point exactly.
This sounds like a lawyer talk where a lawyer just said, let's just throw everything we got against the wall and see what sticks. The complaint alleges that Fox seemed intoxicated at the time. Who the hell ain't intoxicated in the club? Every damn body intoxicated in the club. She was probably intoxicated in the club. Come on, fam. Come on.
Exactly. So, you know, you guys go check out Willie D's coverage of it. He goes on further and he says, you know, he's been in situations where he had to tell guys to come out because clearly there were women there who were basically hunting men with money. You know, and, you know, even some of his viewers, one of the guys there basically turned on him and said basically he was suspect because he was, you know, saying that he didn't believe the women. You know, so like I said, you got guys here who are basically out here white knighting for these women. And anytime you say something like that, then they flip out the pedophile word on you. When they don't even know what the word means. They don't even know what the definition means. You know, the same thing they did to, you know, R. Kelly. They don't even know what the definition means. And then I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna tell you straight up what he's in jail for, what R. Kelly's in jail for. He shouldn't be in jail for. He should be in jail for what they could prove, and all of that. Surviving R. Kelly and all of that, that should not have even been allowed to happen. They should not be able to go out and make a TV special about you and fabricate a bunch of lies about you and bull crap, and then have a YouTube personality to come out and also, you know, get a bunch of information from the penal system illegally, you know, and put all of that stuff out there about you, and then they steal money from you, and these other people that they've already proved that they were trying to extort the man. And some of the people who were on the tape removed themselves off of the tape, trying to extort money out off the man. Now, if you want to send him to jail for the tape, Okay, that's fine. He should be in jail for 5 years and be out. But for the man to be in jail for life, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. You know, for all y'all out here gunning for that man to be in jail for life, y'all crazy. But that just shows another side of our community that just loves to see black folks burn. You know, loves to see black men burn. You know, because the people who are going to suffer the most from this is going to be us. You know, whether y'all like it or not, that's what's going to happen. And then you're going to see people like the next person that I'm talking about. And that is everybody's favorite white knight. And watch how he gleefully talks about how all these charges are brought up against all of these men. He can't wait. Oh, I love it. Oh, just watch his facial expressions. You know, this person who's supposed to be, you know, a PhD. Obviously, he had to write papers where he had to scrutinize, you know, both sides of an argument in order to make an educated, you know, summation of what is actually going on. But to gleefully, you know, report about what's going on here based on what the lawyers put out, which we all know is the original, you know, statements that the lawyers put out is all a bunch of bullshit. You know, they put that out there to make it as grievous as it could possibly be because the presumption of innocence is crazy. It's antiquated. And nobody believes that anymore. It's just something that they say. But let's take a look at him and you know, like I say, you guys know how I feel about him, you know, and I hate to say that because I wish that, you know, people would take their, you know, their education seriously, you know.
Peace, everybody. It's your brother, Mark Lamont Hill. We are here tonight talking about some explosive news that has come out in the media. It's been happening all day. It started yesterday. It really started earlier this week when Diddy received that paperwork from Cassie. Cassie filed paperwork in court charging Diddy with sexual misconduct, sexual abuse, sexual assault, rape, human trafficking, sex trafficking, all the stuff. They quickly,
you know, and that's what kills me. You know, they throw it all in there. Human trafficking, grooming, all of this stuff, all of these catchwords, you know, all these catchphrases, all these new code words they have, you know, for men shaping, you know, women's minds, making them into these zombies where they cook and clean and do whatever the man wants them to do, you know, but ultimately, you don't have to be there. Nobody forces you to be there. Okay? Nobody has ever said, oh, you know what? You gotta be there with that man making the millions of dollars. You gotta stay there because if you leave, your toes will be ripped from the roots. You know, nobody has ever said that. You know, but they act like they don't have any choice but to be there. No, you can go and be like a normal, regular person. Go get you a job. Go to school. Go make it of your own, on your own. But they don't do that, you know, because they can't. They can't make it on their own because it's too hard. You know, they would rather go out here and go and prey off of some man, you know, and that's what the majority of them do. They go out here and they see some rich dude and they get all prettied up, get their lashes together, shellac all the hair down on their foreheads and whatnot, and, get some tattoos and, do it up real big and try to be all model-like and try to catch his eye. And then, maybe either they can get pregnant or either they can just be around him for a long time. Maybe they can, be on, making the band or whatever the case may be, whatever. You can be famous, it's the I can be famous, deal. And they all try to ride that train to the top. But you don't have to do that. And then if they don't do it, then if that doesn't work, they fall back on, oh, he mistreated me. I mean, have y'all seen Sparkle where the mama told her you don't need to be around that man when the dude was, whooping her and all of that? Well, they told her you ain't have to be around the man, but she wanted to be with the man, so she kept taking them whoopings. And that's what is happening here on a larger scale. These people take those whoopings because they feel like they got to take those whoopings to be at the top. And then when they snatch the red carpet from underneath them, then they fall back and say, well, I deserve. So now I'm fixing to go and get me a lawyer and say that he groomed me. He kept me down in the basement. Oh, he made me his nanny. And when I was a little girl, he made me give him neck rubs and massages. And he made me wear men's boy shorts around the house and baseball cleats. And that's what they're doing now. This is the new gimmick. This is the new come up. And people like Mark Lamont Hill, they feel sorry for him and they do a sucker dance and then help them go get their money.
Settled out of court within less than 48 hours, in fact. And many people thought that that was the high point of the week, that we would see that case come and go. But it's been a hell of a day. Since then, we have seen so many other things come up. Now, first, it was Harvey Pierre. For those that don't know, Harvey Pierre, if y'all grew up watching Making the Band, y'all probably saw Harvey Pierre on Making the Band. Harvey Pierre is an executive. He went to Howard with Diddy. He was at one point the president of Bad Boy Records. He was somebody who is known in the industry and in the business, again, as the president of Bad Boy Records, a longtime record exec. And he received some paperwork that got filed today. And I'm going to read it specifically from People Magazine. They obtained some documents where a Jane Doe plaintiff, that means that we don't know the person's actual identity, she alleges that Harvey Pierre, a longtime executive of Bad Boy Records, used his position of authority to groom, exploit, and sexually assault her. This is her allegation. And again, these are all allegations.
Now, y'all, I want you guys to count up the number of times that you hear those same words in each different case. You're going to hear the same exact charges, the same exact words. Groom. What were the other ones? Exploit, all these other, all exact words. They're going to use the exact same words because they're code words. I wouldn't be surprised if Gloria Allred is sitting back there with a board with all of them in like a room, like in the Wolfman, where they all sitting up in like the room waiting on the Wolfman to change and everything. So that, where you actually you tell him that he ain't gonna change and that the moon has no sway over him. But really, they all sit up in these elevated like, seats where everybody can see. And Gloria's down there, where the Wolfman is, and she's showing everybody the words that they supposed to say. I believe that's what happened because I believe she's telling everybody. It's just kind of like like when the Cosby thing happened, did nobody ask the question when they did the New Yorker, picture, why is everybody getting all of his accusers together when they have never gotten together before? They've never met each other. And once they all got together, they all could share their stories. They could all put their stories together. They never did it before. But then after that, everybody's stories start jiving. But nobody asked no questions. Nobody asked any questions at all. The stories just got more horrific. And then all of the black girls, all the black girl magic, all of them, they were more and more horrified, and then all of the sweet brothers, they all got, oh, this is horrifying. He needs to go to jail. He needs to be in jail forever. And it's just more and more the same. All it is just, it's the Lifetime crowd. That's the whole reason why Lifetime was made in the first place. It was made to basically soften up everybody, and basically just all of their shows is about sexual abuse and female victimization. Just like SVU. It's basically to groom the public into basically thinking that everybody has been victimized at least one time in their life. It's the normalization of this victimized belief system. Well, let's move on.
I say that not to disparage the victim. I don't say they're all allegations as a way of.
Oh, and here we go. Here's the legalese. I say this to not to disparage the victims or it's just like it's almost like the fine print at the bottom, so that you don't get sued. There he goes.
Denying their legitimacy. I'm simply speaking in legal terms. They are allegations, and everyone is entitled to a day in court. But these allegations are serious,
But you're happy to put on a smiley face and say that there have been allegations, though. Look at him. I mean, he's looking almost like a minstrel. There's a bunch of allegations, and I cannot wait to get out here and give all of the allegations to everybody.
They feel consistent. And so this woman sued Harvey Pierre and also sued Bad Boy Records, also sued Sean Combs Entertainment. She's decided to sue multiple parties related both to him as a person, but also Bad Boy as a record label. Why would someone do this? I mean, it's the right question. Are we there? Can y'all hear me?
I can tell you why somebody would do it, because they want some money. Why would somebody do this? I mean, if this didn't happen, why would somebody go to the links? It's fool. This is a strategy. This is a legal strategy. You sue the person because the person got some money and the corporation got some money too. Fool.
Okay, I think we locked up for just a half a second, but we back now. We back. So look, as a matter of fact, y'all, you know what I'm gonna do? No, I'm not gonna do that. I was about to start the stream over, but I don't want no problems. I don't want to lose y'all. So what I'm gonna do is just keep rocking. She sued this Jane Doe and sued Harvey Pierre, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, and Combs Enterprises as co-defendants, saying that they were involved in gender-motivated violence and negligence. Their lawsuit says defendants failed to properly supervise Pierre, properly supervise plaintiff, and protect plaintiff from a known danger. And that's a powerful language, a known danger, and thereby enabled Pierre's sexual assaults.
So what makes the language so powerful? What makes this so intriguing to him? Do you guys wonder about that? I mean, what makes this so juicy to him, to where he has to, just stretch his mouth all out and get close to the camera to over accentuate the importance of it to us all? That's really important. Let me underline it for you. why do you feel like, I mean, are you guys concerned about that as much as I am? You know, this is the kind of stuff that really just pisses me off about Mark, man, because the more I watch him, the more, you know, I find things that he does just distasteful. And then he falls back on, I'm a civil rights guy. I have bled for civil rights and blah, blah. You know, yeah, man, look, dude, you not doing anybody any favors. And if I wasn't, you know, I believe they're paying you. I really believe they're paying you. I really do.
Of plaintiff. So they're basically saying that there was a reckless environment there. And in the aftermath of Diddy's lawsuit and the details of that 35-page document, their lawyers, Harvey Pierre, the plaintiff's lawyers who suing Harvey Pierre, have at least a reasonable argument. Again, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there.
Okay, if you're saying at least a reasonable argument, what makes you think it's a reasonable argument? Oh, and then you go, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying from the lawyers. Have you met with the lawyers? I mean, what makes you feel like it's illegal? I mean, this is a real rock solid argument. How about you peel back and just say that, hey, these are the allegations. This is what's come up. Or how about you say as little as possible, because these guys are innocent until proven guilty. And especially since the women have their identities protected, and these men, their identities are not protected, and you're dragging them through the mud. And their companies, you're dragging their companies through the mud too.
But I do know that legally strategically they're in a strong legal position. So that's based on attorneys I've spoken to. That's based on other civil suits that we've seen. It's a very interesting space for them to be in. So we're just going to say that and leave that there. What else is happening, though? Because that didn't even make the headlines. I told y'all what we're going to be talking about. Harvey Pierre didn't even make the headlines. Why? Because today we've seen an outbreak of numerous lawsuits for sexual misconduct. And I'm using sexual misconduct because it's a very broad label that encompasses.
And see, that's important too, because they're using broad descriptive terms. And the reason why they're using broad descriptive terms is because it's a catch-all. You know, it's like a big net. You can catch a bunch of fish with a big net. And that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to catch as many fish as they can. They're trying to get as much money as they can, because they're gonna as much money as they can get out of this. They're gonna say we've had millions of dollars rewarded, and we've caught such and such perpetrators, and this is a win for women everywhere. Watch. I'm telling you, you're gonna be looking back at devastation. Masculine devastation. That's what this is. And this fool don't even know what he's cheering for. He doesn't know. This guy right here is one of the very people who would be helping. He's a collaborator, is what he is. That's what he is. He's a fucking collaborator. He anyway. You know, you guys, if you want to catch more of his rah-rah brigade, you know, you can catch that. I will add the link. But I just can't with him. He is definitely not one of my favorites. But like I said, this is not good for us. This is not good for any of us. This is not good for women. This is not good for men. This is not good for justice. This is not good. This is showing basically a gutting of the justice system, because the finessers are winning. You know, The docudrama people are winning. The writers for SVU and all of them, they're winning because they'll have more shows and fictionalizations and stuff, to show so that people will think that this type of stuff is normal, and you'll have more women out here feeling like that normal sexual interaction between men and women is something that they can use as a weapon if they choose to. So, like I said, you guys, I hope you guys like this show. I hope it didn't go too long. I tried to sit on it so as much information as possible could come out. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Let me know what you think in the comments. I am definitely interested in hearing what you guys think about this. And I will catch you guys later.